Imagine this. It is late at night, nearly 11 o'clock. The house is completely still, and everyone else is asleep. Yet one woman, 72 years old, remains awake in her kitchen, quietly staring at the screen of her phone. Her son is 45 and lives on the other side of the country. Earlier that evening, he called to share that his marriage is falling apart, his business is facing serious challenges, and he feels overwhelmed with uncertainty about the future. For more than an hour, she listened patiently. She reassured him that things would improve and promised to help in any way she could. But after the call ended, she was left alone with her worries. Sitting in the silence, her heart raced, her thoughts refused to settle, and her own health became an afterthought. Restful sleep has been a distant memory for years. My dear friends, if you are over 60 and you recognize yourself in that story, even a little, then this talk is for you. Today, we are not going to talk about how to love your children more. Instead, it is about learning how to love them with greater wisdom. That may be one of the hardest lessons any parent can face, yet it is also one of the most important. Many parents have never been told a difficult truth. Some of the habits they believe are expressions of love for their grown children are quietly draining their own lives. And when love consumes the person giving it, it eventually loses its power to truly support the one receiving it. Before going any further, it is important to acknowledge something deeply personal. No one doubts the depth of a parent's love. It is not simply something parents choose to do, it becomes part of who they are. From the moment a child enters the world, that love takes root, and it often remains the strongest force in a parent's heart for the rest of their life. But Buddhist teachings offer an important insight through the concept of upadana, or clinging attachment. The Buddha teaches that even love, when it is driven by fear, clinging, or the need to control outcomes, can become a source of suffering. Instead of freeing both parent and child, it can create emotional chains that weigh them both down. A river that overflows its banks does not water the garden. It floods it. So today, we explore 4 ways that your love may have overflowed its banks, 4 things you may be doing for your adult children that are, slowly and silently, flooding your own life. We are not here to love less. We are here to love wisely. The first thing I ask you to stop doing is this: stop solving problems that your adult children need to solve for themselves. As parents, it is normal to want to step in the moment they call with a challenge. Perhaps your daughter is overwhelmed by marital problems, workplace stress, or an important decision. Before she has even finished explaining the situation, you are already thinking of solutions and planning how to make everything better. That impulse comes from love, not weakness. Parents are wired to protect their children. But when those children are fully grown, constantly rescuing them can prevent them from discovering their own ability to handle life's challenges. Imagine your daughter is in her 40s. She has accumulated years of experience, knowledge, and resilience. Yet if someone always clears every obstacle from her path, she never gets the opportunity to strengthen those qualities. Just as muscles become weaker when they are never used, confidence and independence grow only when people are allowed to face difficulties themselves. Buddhist philosophy teaches the principle of karma, the natural relationship between actions and consequences. Rather than being a form of punishment, it is life's way of helping us learn and mature. Every person encounters struggles because those experiences shape wisdom and resilience. When parents continually remove every hardship from their adult children's lives, they are not eliminating the lesson. They are only postponing it while carrying the emotional burden themselves. Think of a child who is old enough to walk but is still carried everywhere. The child misses the chance to build strength, while the parent becomes physically exhausted from carrying unnecessary weight. The same pattern often appears in family relationships. A healthier approach is to offer support without immediately fixing the problem. Listen carefully. Show empathy. Instead of rushing in with advice, you might simply say, "That sounds incredibly difficult, but I believe you're capable of finding a solution." Those words communicate confidence in your child's ability while still expressing love. Of course, genuine emergencies are different. If your child is truly in danger, stepping in may be necessary. But ordinary struggles, financial decisions, relationship conflicts, career setbacks, and everyday disappointments, are part of life's education. The emotional weight of solving everyone else's problems is exhausting, especially after decades of parenting. As you grow older, you deserve the freedom that comes from knowing you no longer have to carry every burden. The second thing I ask you to stop, and I know this one may be uncomfortable, is giving money to your adult children in ways that enable them to remain irresponsible. Imagine a retired father who spent decades working hard to build modest savings. His retirement fund is not enormous, but it provides security and peace of mind. Then his adult son, now 40 years old, calls once again with another financial emergency, a mountain of credit card debt, an expensive car payment, or poor spending decisions that have caught up with him. Out of love, the father transfers money yet again. It seems like the caring thing to do. But it is worth asking what lesson is being reinforced. There is a beautiful parable that applies here. When a butterfly emerges from its cocoon, the struggle is essential. As it pushes against the cocoon, fluid is forced into its wings, giving them the strength needed for flight. If someone cuts the cocoon open to make the process easier, the butterfly survives but never develops the strength to fly. Constant financial rescues can have a similar effect. Although they are motivated by kindness, they may prevent adult children from developing responsibility, discipline, and self-reliance. Buddhist teachings describe compassion, or karuna, as helping others move toward freedom and personal growth. Compassion is not about removing every obstacle from another person's life. Instead, it encourages people to discover their own abilities and become stronger through experience. There is an important difference between compassion and enabling. Enabling often feels loving because it relieves immediate discomfort. But over time it creates dependence. Genuine compassion may require saying no, allowing someone to face consequences, and trusting that they can become stronger because of it. Repeated financial bailouts also carry a hidden cost for parents. When help is offered out of fear that a child will struggle, become upset, or feel disappointed, it often comes at the expense of the parent's own security. Financial stability later in life affects nearly every aspect of well-being, including healthcare, housing, independence, and peace of mind. Protecting your retirement savings is not an act of selfishness. It is a wise decision that allows you to remain independent and avoid becoming financially vulnerable yourself. In many ways, maintaining your own financial health is also an act of love. Parents who preserve their resources are better able to care for themselves and avoid becoming dependent on others in the future. The third thing, and perhaps the hardest for many parents to change, is this: stop treating your adult children's emotions as though they are your responsibility. When your son is unhappy, you immediately feel unhappy too. When your daughter is anxious, your own mind becomes restless. If days pass without hearing from your child, your imagination quickly fills the silence with frightening possibilities. This isn't simply deep love, it is love that has crossed healthy emotional boundaries. In Buddhist tradition, one of the 4 divine abodes is upekkha, often translated as equanimity. While some interpret it as detachment or indifference, its true meaning is far more compassionate. Upekkha teaches us to love deeply without becoming emotionally consumed by another person's experiences. It is the ability to say, "I care about you completely, and I trust you to live your own life." There is a difference between empathy and emotional enmeshment. Empathy allows you to share someone's feelings while remaining grounded in your own emotional center. Enmeshment, however, blurs the line between your emotions and theirs until you no longer know where one ends and the other begins. Many parents who have spent decades caring for their children eventually lose touch with their own emotional identity. Their happiness depends entirely on whether their children are thriving. Their peace disappears whenever their children encounter difficulties. Take a quiet moment to ask yourself: when your child is happy, do you feel comfortable? When they struggle, do you feel as though you are struggling too? If your emotional well-being rises and falls entirely with another person's life, even someone you love more than anything, you may no longer be fully living your own life. Instead, you are trying to live theirs as well, and that burden is impossible to carry. I once heard it said this way, and I have remembered it ever since. When you carry someone else's storm inside your heart, you end up with two people drowning instead of one. One of the greatest gifts you can offer your children is emotional steadiness. Instead of becoming another source of anxiety, become the calm place they can return to. Be their safe harbor rather than another wave in the storm. This approach is not only emotionally healthy, it also benefits your physical health. Long-term worry activates the body's stress response, increasing cortisol levels, fueling inflammation, disturbing sleep, and weakening the immune system. Research consistently shows that chronic worry does not shield your children from hardship. It simply wears down your own body and mind. A helpful Buddhist practice is metta, or loving-kindness meditation. Whenever anxiety about your children begins to overwhelm you, pause. Sit quietly, place a hand over your heart, and gently repeat. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you discover your own peace. I lovingly release you to your own path. These words are not spoken because you love them less. They are spoken because genuine love includes trust. Your own peace is not something that should wait until everyone else's problems are solved. It is your rightful share of life. No amount of worrying has ever guaranteed another person's safety or changed their destiny. Allow your children to walk their own path. Then allow yourself to walk yours. And now we come to the fourth thing, the one that, in some ways, encompasses all the others. Stop shrinking your own life in order to orbit theirs. Many people in their 60s and 70s quietly admit that they no longer know who they are outside of being a parent. Behind conversations about health, finances, and grandchildren often lie in a deeper question, who am I now? Gradually, over many years, they stopped making personal plans because their children might need them. Vacations were postponed. Invitations declined. Hobbies abandoned. Friendships faded. Even spiritual practices slipped away because they wanted to remain constantly available for children who had long since become independent adults with lives of their own. Without realizing it, they became like satellites, always circling, always waiting. Ironically, most adult children never expected this sacrifice. If they fully understood what their parents had given up, many would feel deeply saddened. Both Buddhist and Hindu traditions describe later life as a season for turning inward, not by withdrawing from love, but by deepening one's relationship with life itself. It becomes a time for reflection, spiritual growth, wisdom, and discovering new meaning that only years of experience can reveal. Your later years are not meant to be a waiting room. They are not simply the quiet final chapter while younger generations take center stage. They can become some of the richest, most rewarding years of your life.